Kia's answer to the Toyota Prius gets a comprehensive redesign this year. I'm at the 2022 New York International Auto Shows, and these hot little hatches are the 2023 Niro Electric and Niro Plug-in Hybrid. Let's take a first look. Now let's first talk about the styling of the all-new Niro, because we've technically seen this car already. The Korean market revealed it a few months ago, but this is the US spec car. This is the one that's going to be showing up in America by this summer of this year as a 2023 model. And Kia here in New York is actually launching 3 versions of the car. Just like the previous generation, we have a hybrid, we have a plug-in hybrid right here, and then we also have a full electric model. I'm going to start with the design philosophy of the plug-in hybrid model. This blue color certainly looks good. This is probably a top trim version. You can see the front end of this car certainly is unique. You have an evolution of Kia's Tiger Nose grille. Kia says the design philosophy of this car is opposites united. And you certainly see that in here with all of the different textures, the different colors. The headlights, you can see, are full LED, which has this really distinctive line here for the daytime running light. It has an LED turn signal, LED low and high beams, and then you also have LED fog lights right here in the front fascia, which I think this car seriously stands out. I really like the way this car looks. Remember, this styling of this car was taken from the Habanero concept, which they showed in LA back in 2019. Now, looking around the side profile, you can see it's still roughly the same in terms of the overall profile. This is a compact economy style hatchback, although Kia likes to market it as a CUV. I don't really call it an SUV because it only has 6.3 inches of ground clearance, which is not much, but its overall length at around 174 inches long. This is about 3 inches longer versus the previous generation. So it is a little bit more interior space. It also gives it a more unique structure. The plug-in hybrid, you can see, includes the charge part over here, which you'll find the same thing on the full electric model, but it will actually be at a different location. I want to talk about the wheels. These black finished wheels, you can see, look really good. They fill out the wheel wells nicely. They're an 18-inch wheel wrapped in 225/45 series tires. The electric version has its own unique wheel with a little bit more of an aerodynamic look. You can see the fenders, you can have like a kind of flared out look to them, but they are painted, which is nice. And then of course, the big styling element here for the new Niro is this right here. This kind of side blade, which, by the way, you can get it painted body colored, you can get it in black, and you can also get it in gray. The gray that gray is specific to the full electric model. This is kind of taken from the Habanero, and I think it's an interesting design touch. Let me know in the comment section below if you guys like how Kia gives us this kind of side blade that is left unpainted, that is basically black painted or gray, or you can also make it body colored. The roof rails, you can see, are black. They're a low profile design, just a standard sunroof. And then over here at the rear, this car really looks distinctive at the back. In fact, I'm kind of getting some maybe Volvo-esque design, especially with the vertical LED taillights. You can see you've got the new Kia logo here, a new Niro badge with the plug-in hybrid badge, and then down here you can see no visible exhaust tips. Remember, this is a plug-in hybrid model, but Kia wants you to remind you that this is an electrified vehicle. Now, opening up the trunk area, I don't believe the previous generation offered a power tailgate, so it's nice to see that Kia has added that. Looking at the cargo space, I don't have final figures just yet, but because this vehicle is slightly longer, you are going to get slightly more cargo space. The seats still fold down in a 60/40 manner, which is nice. And then underneath here, you can see no spare tire, but there is a little bit of storage for a few things. But overall, as a small, economy-minded hatchback small SUV, this is certainly going to be practical for a lot of people. Now, getting inside the interior of the completely redesigned 2023 Niro, I have to say, Kia has really been killing it with their interiors, and this car is certainly no exception. It takes some styling cues here from the EV6. Remember the EV6? It's their full battery electric SUV that's been doing really well in the marketplace. This one here, being the plug-in hybrid, has some pretty unique design elements. I want to first start with the seats. You can see, look at these two-tone seats. They look like they've been taken directly out of the EV6, especially with the headrest design. They're made with a synthetic leather material, so it's animal-free. They're vegan leather interior. And then you can see the rest of the interior in terms of the materials is decent. The door panel has a soft touch injection molded plastic. You have this interesting design to the door handle. You've got 2-person memory seats. These seats are an 8-way power with a 2-way memory or 2-way lumbar support. These seats are also heated and ventilated. So ventilated seats typically are hard to find in the segment. The steering wheel, you can see, also comes out of the EV6. It's got that 2-spoke design. With the new Kia logo, it's tilt and telescoping. This essentially feels like I'm in an EV6, especially when you look at the infotainment system. You have 2 10.5-inch displays, one here in the instrument panel and then one here in the center stack. It forms one large display, although it is 2 separate displays. It includes Kia's latest version of their infotainment system, Kia Connect, which includes a wireless smartphone app where you can use your phone as a key. It'll include over-the-air updates. It has Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, which again is what you expect in today's modern environment. And then you can see down here, you have your start-stop button. You have an electronic shifter. Lots of buttons here in piano black plastic, along with a wireless phone charging pad, USB and USB-C charging ports. It all is very nice and pretty practical. It even has the same cup holders that I remember in the EV6. Open up this area here, you can see it's a relatively small center console area, but it is nice that there is some covered storage. And then you can see right here, I want to point out this panel is the same thing as the new Sportage and the EV6, where if the vehicle was on, I don't have the key for it, it'll actually change between audio and climate when you push a button. So that's a really interesting touch that makes the cabin feel a little bit more modern. Over here in the glove box, you can see it's a bin style. It's damped but not lined with felt, and the dashboard has this kind of soft touch texturized material, which looks nice. It feels okay, but remember, this is an economy minded SUV that's on the lower end of the totem pole. Let me hop into the back seat and show you guys the space back here, because the old Niro definitely had some surprising room, and that's continuing for the new version. You can see getting back here at 5'7", I have a ton of headroom, a decent amount of leg room. There are 2 level heated seats back here, which is nice. Materials are hard touch plastic, so it is a downgrade versus the front seats, but you also still have the USB-C charging ports. Those are the quicker chargers. You have rear seat air vents. You have a standard household outlet down here. And then if you fold this down, you can see there's an armrest that gives you 2 cup holders. So again, if you're looking for an electric vehicle that actually gives you space, there is decent room to be found here. Even above here, you can see tons of headroom, although Kia doesn't offer a Pano style sunroof. That's something you can find in the EV6. But overall, if you need to get car seats, you need to get average size adults back here, the Niros can certainly deliver on that. So just like the previous generation, the Niro were launched with 3 powertrain options here in the US, starting with the base hybrid version. Now I can't actually open the hood of this one. We'll show you guys under the hood of the plug-in hybrid and the electric, but you still have the same 1.6 liter naturally aspirated 4-cylinder that runs on the Atkinson cycle. It's augmented by a 32 kilowatt electric motor, which means you get the same 139 horsepower and 195 pound-feet of torque. This vehicle remains front-wheel drive. There is no all-wheel drive version available, but Kia is targeting 53 mpg, which is like a 3 mpg improvement over the previous generation. They're claiming it's going to be right around best in class, and with the cruising range, you should be able to do nearly 600 miles on a full tank. So moving down the lineup, let's talk about the middle option in the Niro. This is the Niro plug-in hybrid, which means you have the same 1.6 liter naturally aspirated 4-cylinder that runs on the Atkinson cycle. However, the electric motor has been beefed up. So now we have an electric motor that's roughly twice as powerful, and we also have a larger 11.1 kilowatt hour battery pack. That battery pack allows you to go about 33 miles on a full electric charge. That's about a 25% improvement versus the previous generation, and you get roughly 180 horsepower and 195 pound-feet of torque. It goes out through a 6-speed conventional automatic, so no CVT here, and it has roughly 40 more horsepower versus the hybrid only version of this car. So I like the fact that Kia has increased the power. This vehicle remains only front-wheel drive, so this could be the best of both worlds, because Kia says you should be able to go around 560 miles on a full tank with this car. And finally, we come to the Kia Niro EV. This is the full electric version of the car, which essentially plucks out the internal combustion engine and puts in an electric motor at the front. A very powerful electric motor that delivers 201 horsepower and around 293 pound-feet of torque. That is, remember, only going to the front wheels. So if you guys want all-wheel drive or rear-wheel drive, Kia will happily sell you an EV6. The fact that it's electric means you have a 1-speed reduction gear transmission. And in terms of the range, Kia has increased the battery capacity to around 64.8 kilowatt hours. That's a barely 0.8 increase in the kilowatt hour, which means now you can go up to 253 miles on a full charge. That is among the higher for kind of an economy branded SUV like this. That's an increase from 239 miles on the previous generation. And for those of you who want to fast charge this vehicle, Kia says you'll go from 10 to 80% in roughly 45 minutes. It'll accept up to 85 kilowatts of maximum DC fast charging, which isn't a lot, but remember, this is the price leader. If you want something faster, go and happily buy an EV6. The one thing that did surprise me, open this up, this car does have a frunk. I wasn't expecting it to have a frunk. The previous generation certainly didn't have that, but you can see it's pretty similar to the EV6, so it's probably like 0.25 in terms of the space. So as Kia's entry-level vehicle for an electrified type of car, the Niro certainly is going to appeal to a lot of buyers out there, especially if you're looking for something a lot more affordable. Starting at the baser end here, the hybrid model, we don't have final pricing just yet for the Niro. However, the current generation starts at around $25,000 for a hybrid. I would expect this to be roughly around the same ballpark. You're going to spend roughly about $6,000 more for the plug-in hybrid model, and then the electric, the old one was like around the mid to low $40,000 range, which which again, it starts basically, or it ends basically where the Kia EV6 starts. So that's something to keep in mind if you guys are looking for an electric car and you don't want to spend, mid $50,000 for this vehicle. Now, speaking of which, this all new generation will be heading to Kia dealerships later this year. They're saying summer, fall for the launch date, which I expect it to be probably later on. But overall, I think that Kia has done a good job with the interior, with the exterior, with its unique look. And I'm especially happy that they added more horsepower and more range for the plug-in hybrid model, because that could be the perfect stepping stone for those of you who want to try an EV but don't want to go kind of that full electric route. But with all that said, hope you guys have enjoyed my first look overview on the new Kia Niro. For Redline Reviews here at the 2022 New York International Auto Show, I'm Sofyan Bey.